For my assignment, I decided to do a presentation that was a hybrid between an example student presentation and a directions presentation. I wanted to show the students how I want the lab set up with explicit examples and criteria. The lab was based on the second grade standard that requires students to plan and conduct an investigation to determine if plants need sunlight and water to grow. I actually adapted the idea from my biology for elementary majors class. I began as though I was teaching to the class. So today, boys and girls, we will be looking over an example presentation that you will be creating. This PowerPoint will go alongside your seed lab. So now I'm going to introduce you to my experiment. On the first slide, which we are looking at now, I have included the title of my experiment, Do Plants Need Sunlight and Water to Grow? And below that, I have placed my name, Miss Rob. On the next slide, I am now doing the introduction to my experiment. I begin by including the question that I want to answer. Do seeds need sunlight and water to grow into plants? Then I explain exactly what I will be experimenting. I will have one group, Group A, of seeds that will not get water or sunlight, and another group, Group B, that will get water and sunlight. Lastly, I will include my hypothesis. A hypothesis is what I am expecting to happen in my experiment, which is that the group of seeds that have access to water and sunlight will grow, while the seeds that do not will not grow. As noted in many of the readings about utilizing presentations in the classroom, it is important for the presentations to be visually appealing and catch the eyes of your students. This is an important way to get their focus initially. Then it is important to have transitions and animations to keep their attention throughout. This is your beginning stage to get the students engaged in the task at hand. For each slide, I included animations which appear as I speak, and a color choice which coincides with plant life. The reason I wanted the words and animations to appear as I spoke was to help students follow along, prevent confusion by reading ahead, and also make the slideshow more clear for my students. I also included one image and the citation for the image, which is important because it teaches students right away to get into the habit of citing their sources. Then I need to provide my variables in my experiment. First, I have included my independent variable. The independent variable is the one that is changed by the scientist. So for my experiment, that is the location of the bags, since one bag will be in a dark box and one will be on a window. I then include my dependent variable. The dependent variable is what the scientist focuses their attention on to see how the independent variable, so for mine, the location of the bags, is impacting the experiment. So my dependent variable then is seed growth. Lastly, I include my controlled variable. The controlled variable is what the scientist wants to remain the same throughout the experiment. Therefore, for my experiment, I want the type of seeds and the type and amount of water to be the same. It is important to note that there can be multiple controlled variables. Another important thing mentioned in the readings is having information that is short, concise, and age appropriate. This is why on all slides, information is concise and has carefully chosen verbiage. As mentioned when I introduced my presentation, I wanted my presentation to be a hybrid between an example student presentation and a directions presentation. This is why each slide includes examples of what a student could put on the left and the information or criteria I require on the right. Now, after I have introduced my experiment and its variables, I will include my data collection. My graph includes the day I am experimenting, the controlled group, Group A's growth, the experimental group, Group B's growth, and any observations I see on that day. Each day for a whole week, starting today and ending on Sunday, you will be recording your measurements for both groups' growth and any observations. Make sure that every measurement includes the units, which in our experiment is centimeters. For this slide, I purposely did not fill out every single day of the experiment. I decided to just fill out the top so the students had an example of what information to put in without giving it all to them. This prevents students from being able to directly copy my work while also giving them an example for what they will need to put for their own experiment. On the last day of the experiment, Sunday, you will take 2 photographs. One image will show Group A's growth at the end of the experiment, and the other will show Group B's growth at the end of the experiment.
The reason I chose to add this slide into my presentation is to add more technology into the presentation. Today, it is extremely easy for students to snap a picture and upload it to a document, but either way, it is an important skill to teach students. This is just one more step to show children how it can be fun and effective to use technology in presentations. I only wanted them to upload photos at the end to support their conclusion and also give them their first chance to utilize images they have taken themselves into their presentations.
You will finish off your PowerPoint presentation with your conclusion. Your conclusion is like a reflection of your experiment. I first answered if my hypothesis was correct or incorrect, which my hypothesis was correct. Then I explained why it was correct, because the group that received water and sunlight grew, while the group that received no water or sunlight did not grow. I ended my conclusion by asking myself if I could do the experiment again, what would I do differently? To that I answered, I would have liked to do the experiment longer and see how much more it would grow. For your conclusion, you need to answer if your hypothesis was correct, explain why, and include any other questions and answers necessary to support your findings.
This slide promotes flexibility in that although I require students to answer some questions, I also allow them to ask and answer their own. The question I chose as an example was shown to expand on knowledge that the students gained during the experiment. I have an example of a question that might be used, but told them to choose what they saw necessary. This allows the students to pick and choose which questions will be best to support their individual findings. Thank you for watching my presentation on how to create an activity while utilizing technology.